Now, before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe and turn on that bell notification so you know when we upload. Welcome to Rugby Heads, powered by the Big Athletic Club, where we cover all things in the world of rugby. My name is Sione, and joining me are our regular rugby nerds, Alfonso Rodamia and Lemani Nandolo. And he's back. Some may call him Ironside's replacement, but we call him Josh Tungiri. Welcome, mate. Welcome.
Good to be back. Up the drawer. Fonz, what happened to the Chiefs, Fonz?
Oh, I don't know, man. My power cut out.
But we'll get into it. We'll get into it soon. But if this is your first time joining us, or if you're a regular here and you haven't done so yet, please show your support by hitting that like and subscribe button and leave a comment and tell us your thoughts on Super Rugby Round 4. Now, quickly a rundown of today's show. We go through our top performers of the week, our opportunity to give flowers to the players who stood out for us over the weekend's play. Then we go around the grounds, reviewing all the action from Super Rugby Round 4, debate and select our Super Rugby team of the week, and check up on our Super W and I'll Pick Your season predictions that we made 2 weeks ago, and then we review the Six Nations matches from the weekend just gone. Now, Nems,
Please stop.
Nems, you want to start with your top performer of the week?
Oh, look, my top performer of the week. What a weekend it was in Fiji. It was jam-packed double header, but I'm actually we're gonna dive into it anyway with the women's game, but I've got to give it to Reds fullback Laurie Kramer, who played for the Reds. You can definitely tell her experience kicking in, and she had a blind of a game, very instrumental in that win, which we'll dive into against the Fiji women's tour team. So Laurie Kramer, my guy, great game.
Good shout, good shout. Now, Fonz, you want to get into your top performer of the week?
My one was out of Moana, Pasifika. He ran the show very well, and that's Pellegrini. Man, what a game from him. Not many people know him, but now they do. Yeah. Obviously, we'll talk about the game a bit more, but I think it's his shirt to lose now. So what a player he is.
Yeah, I also had him as well, but I did have another one from the Super W Aupiki. She's back to her best. Aisha Letiainga. She played in the losing side, but mate, she scored a brilliant solo try, and every time she touched the ball, she just looked dangerous. And I think if you're a Black Ferns fan heading to this World Cup, you should be happy with that performance from her.
Paddy, great shout. I also had Paddy. I had a backup though, Miracle Failangi. 3 tries for Moana to ice out the Hurricanes. So I would have picked all of Moana 23, but I had to go with Miracle Failangi. But I'm sure those names will pop up in our Super Rugby Team of the Week debate. Now let's get into the action in Super Rugby Round 4, starting with the Brumbies defeating the Blues in Auckland on the Friday night. Nem's thoughts and thoughts on the game.
I'm going to call it. I reckon the Wallabies will win in Eden Park this year. I never get them right anyway, so I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, thanks for that. No one asked about it. Yeah, thanks for that one.
Wow.
But anyway, going back to the game, look, I thought the Brumbies played really well. If there's one team in Australia that can do that, is the Brumbies. They can go. They can. Like remember I said last week, they can adjust to any conditions. They did that in Fiji when they played 6 debutants, and I personally wasn't surprised if they were going to win that game. But yeah, they played really well. Their forwards fronted up, as you can see in that last sort of penalty. But that number 10, Declan Meredith, he's really taking his opportunities with Lolasia not there and Debrasini. He's pushed him to the bench, so really happy with how he's come in his game, and it was an all-round good performance from the Brumbies.
The Brumbies bench coming off the bench and just dominated everything when it come to set pieces and the breakdown. Look, the Brumbies, they were very strong. They were counter-rucking everything, every tackle, and the amount of turnovers in the last 10 to 20 minutes, it literally turned the whole game around. And look, we talked about it last week about the bench coming on for the Brumbies. A lot of those guys, they're normally starters, Pollard, Neville, Luke Reimer. So, those guys come on, made huge impacts. And I believe that's where the game was sort of won and lost, because I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this one, I think the Blues didn't score any points second half. at all after a few loose tries in the first half. So, and the other one too, I think he's been pretty consistent, is Corey Toole on the left wing for the Brumbies. Obviously, we all know how fast he is, but that Brumbies team, that's a big win. And, leaving New Zealand with, what a win is going to be huge now, because they won't have to come back to New Zealand now, and they'd have to, obviously got a few games coming up. They've got one against the Drua this week during kids round. So very, very good from the Brumbies on the Friday night.
Yeah, nice. And JT, your thoughts on the game there, and any shout outs?
Yeah, I agree with Nems and Fonz there. The Brumbies, they were just awesome. But I think you can put it down to at half time with Bowden Barrett going off injured. Because when he was at 10 running the show, they looked really dangerous. And can we put the debate to bed? I think Bodie needs to play 10. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if you're a Blues fan, you want him at 10. You want him the best player touching the ball all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he went off, that was a big factor. But I thought the Brumbies forwards stood up, especially the back row. For the Blues, I was happy with Cameron Sofo. He had a big game. He had a big shift. And Finlay Christie also, he looked dangerous every time he touched the ball. But it was the Brumbies too good.
Oh, I thought it was only the women's that you could analyse properly, but man, he's got it. And once again, guys, if you're watching and you want to have your say, make sure you put it down in the comments, and I'm sure someone's going to read it. But we'll get into the next game, the biggest game, I thought, one of the biggest game, wet, but also very entertaining. Nems, you were there. Fiji and Drua winning at home against the unbeaten Chiefs, now not unbeaten. Thoughts and standouts.
Oh mate, it was a big weekend, double header obviously with the women's game as well. Mate, I can tell you now, the last time I've had this feel, like when you see a team and you just know, holy heck, they're a team that's going to be hard to beat. Like they've had that when I saw them they got off the bus, they had this aura about them. Like, mate, it's going to take an arm and a leg to beat these guys. Last time I had that feeling was the Waratahs of 2014. Like that squad, like you just knew they were going to do something special. And anyway, so they were there, mate. It was a great, it was an amazing weekend. The Chiefs, you got to remember the Chiefs in the last 60 minutes. Sorry, in the last 20 minutes of the game is when they come alive, right? Is when they put teams to bed. They've been doing that for the last 3 weeks. Fiji turned that around. The conditions played a huge part, I think. The rain, there was a patch there where it rained heavily, but it didn't deter the way they played. And I've never seen the Chiefs absorb so much pressure there, in that last 20 minutes. The Drua just kept coming. And, in saying that, I don't think this is another game too. Like the Drua, we could be sitting here and saying that they're 4-0. You know what I mean? So this game today was like they got a few bounces come their way as well. They took their opportunities. Just that maturity from the leadership group going to points. In the first half when they were not getting anywhere, they were going. Ravula going for goal. I think they went for 2 penalties in the first half. I think that was the difference as well. Just keeping them in touch because again, playing in low pockets, it's a different breed. It's a different ball game altogether. And when they went into the sheds at 12-6, that's all they needed. And I was really impressed with the bomb squad that came off. Mosi Pingiri and all those guys, the front rowers. In the past, Fiji's always known to go to sleep when it comes to set piece, but they've come leaps and bounds. And again, the last 3 weeks that they've played, this was we shouldn't be surprised as well, in their performance against the Chiefs. It was coming. They were going to get that win. It just happened to be against the best team in the comp. And in saying that, the Chiefs made the hits that were getting put out there, you could literally hear it from the commentary box. It was crazy. Drua were just throwing themselves literally at the Chiefs' defense. I've never seen that done before from the Drua. But they just grew in that second half. And again, with those tries that Mongan and Mussy scored, just building that pressure. That try has to be one of the freak tries of the year. We thought last week, 2 weeks ago, when Karawa Level scored that try against the Tars, it was and that's the sort of thing in Lotok is what you're going to expect. And to be fair, it's actually hard to commentate those games over there because your heart rate goes up and down. I had my sports watch on. There was a time there in the last 10 minutes, my heart rate was at 151. Well, there you go. It's draining, man. Like literally, but it's the best we can. Like it was also the Chiefs guys. Credit to them. A lot of away teams now are starting to bring in starting to use this trip as kind of like for their sponsors to come over. So there was heaps of Chiefs fans there. We saw Aaron Cruden in the stands. Mate, it was a great weekend. But again, to see the Chiefs, eat their own medicine, so to speak. It was amazing to see. But in saying that, the Chiefs again, they're not going to be deterred by this. They know they're a team that'll bounce back. And what's scary is whoever they're playing this week. I feel for them because they're going to come out firing. But yeah, man, it was a great game. And again, my picks was Armstrong Ravula. Love the way he plays, mate. He's really owning that 10 jersey, and he's putting, he's giving Glenn Jackson headaches in terms of that 10. But another thing, one more thing too. They rotated a lot in that 3 weeks. They did a lot of rotation. Not many teams have been doing that, but the Drua. So from round 1 to round 4, everyone in the squad has played. So now they've all got minutes. So that again plays a big part. Whereas teams are a bit conservative. They'll play their full team, all the way through. So it was good to see they get that win, and hopefully this will set them up, for the season.
Yeah, we'll soon find out if it is. But we'll leave the Chiefs Mana guy to go last. So, JT, thoughts on the game and your standouts?
Yeah, I was real happy with the draw, but there's something to tell from Super Rugby this year. I think the bench is going to play a big part moving forward throughout the year. You've seen with the Brumbies and the Blues game, the Brumbies bench was just awesome. And also, I know the Hurricanes lost, but when their bench came on, they did make an impact and nearly run the Moana down. But with the Drua, they had guys like Ikeni Vere, Penny Ravai, Motiki Murray, and Elia Vanakavata on the bench. And they've been 4 of their best players throughout the year. And just speaking to some of the Drua boys, they were saying that the last 3 games, they've been losing the games in the last 15 to 10 minutes. So what they wanted to do was sort of have those experienced guys on the bench, those finishers, to come on and get that victory. And we've seen that's what happened there. I thought they were very impressive. Motika Murray, especially off the bench, is a real workhorse. But the starters, they laid the platform. It's also good to see Celestino Robotomanda back. Yeah. He's one of the best kick chasers in the competition, and he can turn a bad kick into a really good kick just through his kick chase. So it's good to see him. Give him a couple games and a dry track, and he'll find his feet again. Yeah. But yeah, Poni Patelong and Masi, for me, he really stood out.
No, nice. And hopefully Fonz has got some inside from Chiefs camp, just like JT and Dura. Fonz, how did you see the game and your standouts? What happened, man? What happened?
Well, mate, they got beaten by a better team. That's all it was. You could have a few excuses about the weather and stuff, but look, the Drua, they showed up for 80 minutes. I thought the last 10 minutes, are they going to fall off like the last 3 weeks? And then with 5 to go, he goes, no, they're not. They're going to finish this game out clean. The only bummer for the Drua, would you think about it, would be they left the bonus point for the Chiefs at the end with the last try. And that kept the Chiefs in first place on the table. So that'd be the only sort of bummer. But I have to agree on what the boys have said about Armstrong Ravula. I thought he had an amazing game, just controlling the game with his kicks. It was raining. West put the ball up. West kick long. West have contestable kicks. Every time he crossfield like 3 times in one passage of play. But they were all contestable kicks. And it's a very smart play from a 10. I don't actually think Glenn Jackson has a headache in terms of selecting their 10. I think at the moment, Armstrong Ravula is the guy to run their team. Not to say Munster's not doing a good job. They're just 2 different players. We've talked about it plenty of times on here. From the Chiefs' point of view, I mean, we said it last week. You can't send You can't send a weak team to Fiji. It's hard to play there. And, you've seen it, Nems, you've been there, the Drua, when they get their fans behind them, it is hard to turn the momentum away from the Drua. And I felt that last 20 minutes when the Drua were just plugging away. And it wasn't even Fijian sort of rugby. It was tight, it was hard, and they were getting over the game line. And those forwards from the Drua really are impressing me. I talk about the last couple of weeks, but Murray is one hell of a player. He is something special out of Fiji at the moment. He's definitely one for the future, and for not just the Drua, but for Fiji. So it's great that the Drua finally got their first win off the mark. Obviously, I was a bit disheartened in my Chiefs loss, but mate, how good is it? That's the second upset, straight away or start the week. So people are talking about Super Rugby. I think it's just great for our competition that we're getting tight games and they're exciting. So, I've got to take my hats off to the Drua. What a great win.
Fonzie, I was just talking to a few of the Chiefs supporters, and they were saying, "Oh, look, yeah, we lost, but it's a Drua. It's our second favourite team. So every time if a team does lose to Drua, they're actually not too fast. It's only when they lose to other teams. So it's not a bad thing."
Nems, at the moment, I think everyone's second team is either the Drua or Moana Pasifika, isn't it? If our team's not winning, let's just hope those two teams are doing all right. So, man, it's good. It's so good for the comp, isn't it? It's so good.
And we'll get to the Moana game. Mate, you kept our multi alive. We backed all the ones that weren't favourites, and this kept our multi alive. I should have cashed out after this one, but Moana defeated the Hurricanes at home in Albany. Nems, thoughts on the game, and who were your standouts?
Mate, that 10 for Moana. So I actually didn't watch the game. I was 10 beers deep after the Drua game, so I was still making my way. Want to hear a funny story? So our commentary team, they have a bus that goes to the hotel from the Lotoka to Nundy. I obviously missed that. Got too caught up in the with the Drua guys and thinking that I was one of the players, which I wasn't, and missed my ride. So I didn't get to watch the game. I saw a bit of the highlights. I actually caught the bus back with the team, so that was a bit awkward. But I was really happy with Pellegrini, number 10. So he's those don't know, he's a Trinity boy. He's from Sydney. He's Sam Wykes' a young cousin. He's from New South Wales. I thought he had a blind of a game. Like, where's he been the last 3 weeks? No offense to Bashop. I thought he'd been playing well, but he's really what really impressed me is the 10s, both for Moana and Drua, in the island. We're not renowned for that. We're not renowned for 10s. And he literally had a blinder. He stepped up to that plate against Hurricanes. Again, the Moana, just like the Drua, their support base just got behind them. Adi Savia again. When Kerwin came out in the media years ago, and when he found out that he signed, said, was it a good idea? Mate, it's the best thing that's ever happened to Super Rugby. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully he's eating some humble pie and realising the big impact that Artie's done for Moana, because a lot of these guys now they're just a different team. And again, that win was coming, right? It was it's not like it just happened. And I was really surprised though that the scoreline was what it was. At one stage there, they were winning by 20. So for me, number 10 Pellegrini was on fire, and Duplessis, Karifi he played really well as well, but just wasn't the Hurricanes night. And I think, like the Drua, passion really took over, and the fans really got behind their team, and it was good, so good for rugby. It's good for Super Rugby, and it's. I don't know about you guys, but every time Adi Savia gets interviewed, it's like inspirational. I'm ready to run through a brick wall.
Yeah, I'm home. I was like, oh.
Yeah. When he said I'm home,
yeah,
because of that, I was still in the bus on the way down, and I just heard I'm home, and then I was like,
hey, I need to go home.
We drank coffee until 2 a.m, so it wasn't that. I went to the different homes. But again, good week, good game for the Moana.
Yeah, no, obviously real impressed with Moana. They just wanted it more. They were a bit more desperate, especially for Artie coming back, playing against his old team. The Hurricanes, for me, just simple mistakes and a bit ill-disciplined there, a couple of yellow cards. But I thought the standouts for me was Miracle Falangi. Obviously, he's got his hat trick, but also number 8 as well, Samisi Tupo Tailoa. They both stood up in the absence of Artie when he went off at halftime with that injury, and they really carried that forward pack. You guys have already touched on it with Patrick Pellegrini. They've got a good future there in him. And also, just from a Hurricanes point of view, it's good to see Ruben Love back. He had some good touches there, and he's got a big boot on him. And then also one other, he's been killing it all year, Kyron Tomafalau. He was just, he was awesome. Couple breaks there, a try. I think he even bombed a try, but he made up for it later. So well done to Moana. Good win.
Just echoing what those boys are saying, just Moana played 80 minutes this week, same thing as the Drua. They not once did they kind of look like they were going to, fall off the pace. Artie obviously went off injured at halftime, but they scored 2 quick tries, and both of them off Pellegrini, obviously off the high ball, which that's when Taumoefalau made that amazing break. Outstanding game from both of them. But what's interesting with all of this at the moment is I've noticed they're getting more support behind them as well at the games, and that's huge. That's a big thing. They're not like the Drua, where the Drua is based in Fiji. They're a bit of a, where they're on the North Shore. There's not too many islanders there. They've gotten a few, obviously, South Africans. They had the Brai up there during the week just to connect with the fans out there. But at the moment, that looks again like the Drua, real good. The team chemistry, and you could see in the changing rooms after the game. Saw some of those videos with Fiji and they were singing his songs, which I think was great. But at the moment, you look at that Moana team, that back row, Failangi and all those guys. There's guys like the Anisi brothers that got to come back, and they were some of their best players last year. And honestly, they're going to struggle to get back into a 23 that's just playing too good at the moment. Yeah. The other big mention I got to give a shout out to is the 2 Palangis in the second row. I think they're playing very good. Tomasi Savage. Mate, he is he's nothing flash. He's just your typical big Palangi lock, and he just does the dirty work, and he's just in there. I don't know if you heard him. They had him mic'd up during the game. Very good insight. What he was saying with his team and whatnot. Very good. Hurricanes though, they're struggling at the moment. They got a lot of issues to work out. JT, I think, was right. Discipline was a big one for them. They let so many unforced errors and forced errors, and also just the discipline around the field. No arm tackles, that kills you. And that Moana scrum is very good. It's a very good scrum at the moment. It's a good platform. Tamatene is giving clean ball out to their backs, and they're actually getting good, clean, quick ball. So at the moment, Moana, they have the bye. And then they play the Chiefs in Pukekohe. That game's no longer in Tonga. So it'll be interesting if they can keep that momentum going for Moana. So what a win.
Yeah, you mentioned that no arms tackle. Let's hope Danny Tuala's knee's not gone after that grass cut. But, mate, you mentioned the 2 Palangis. But, mate, I thought the best was watching that team song and Alan Craig. Is it Alan Craig, the Kiwi one? Just Faumu better than the actual Samoans in there. So his Chihu was on point. Man, it was good to see. And, mate, we're back. We're coming, mate. We're coming. I told you we're going to make the top 6. Moana's coming, mate. The tide is changing. Hey. All right. Now, the game that ruined our multi, Tars, they finally got their shit together, especially Max Jorgensen. But, Nems, let us know how your team went against your former team.
Yeah, I made the mistake of betting against them, so apologies to the Tars fans that they can quit abusing me in my DMs. I just thought the 4th would go up.
Yeah.
This was force of last year, like that game, like all the names just didn't show up. And I just think the Tars just played solid. Like it wasn't, it wasn't fancy. It just was solid rugby. They pressured the force. Mate, what was the go with the kicking? Goal kicking. Both guys were, I don't know if they had a blindfold over their heads or something, over their eyes, but like that was unlike Donaldson to miss a few kicks. He's a sharpshooter, but like you said, Jorgensen, he played really well. Starting to come into his own now, and but I was just really impressed with the forwards, the task forwards. Like they're, like JT was saying, the impact off the bench. Those big forwards that came on, they made a big difference. And but yeah, I was just sort of disappointed in how the force played. I just thought, I had hopes for them to do really well, but maybe it's the long flight. I don't know. But in saying that, the Tars, with Bell, Tupou, Parecki, and all those guys, like it is a strong side. Now, the big test will be next week or this week against the Reds. But I was just really, really, there's a lot of errors too from the force, and they just went themselves. But in saying that, it was a good game and good for the Tars to get up unbeaten still. So. From a team that didn't win a game last year or won one game. No, they lost. They didn't win a game last year to now. You got to take all that as a positive. And I saw McKellar come out saying the Reds are the form team. I love the reverse psychology because, anyone that knows McKellar, he knows that he backs his side, day in, day out. So he would have taken a lot for him to say that. But, it's going to be a good game this week. But the Tars are really coming to their own. Also, Tane Edmonds coming off the bench, he made a big impact. I kind of like him coming off the bench. It was a bit of a change, but it was good. Jake Gordon, he's just a warrior, and he just keeps going, keeps pushing. Spent some time with him a few seasons ago. Man, that guy goes through so much. You know what I mean? At the Tars. So, really impressed with the Tars and. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that scoreline on the weekend.
Yeah. Now, JT, your thoughts and standouts?
Yeah, I was impressed with the real disappointed, like Nem said, with the force, especially watching them the first 3 weeks, getting a couple dubs and just losing to the Reds, and then they put in a performance like that. Let's hope it's not back to the old force, but they improve next week. With the Tars, the front row, Angus Bell and Tanela Tupou really set the platform for the boys. I know Nella was blowing there towards the end of the first half, but he done well come scrum time, as he usually does. Got a few penalties there. With the force, I thought your boy Sione, Nick Champion de Crispy was good. Yeah. He's a bit of a Ben McElman type player, the old force player. I thought he didn't give up. He was tough. The Tars probably got a bit of a worry with Lungy Gleeson's injury. Not sure what the go is there, but he did come off in the first half. But I was impressed with the Waratahs back three. They're getting better each game. Callaway, Jorgensen, and was it Lancaster on the other wing there? Yeah. They got their tries. Yeah, so I think it'll be a game to watch this week here in Suncorp. The Reds and the Tars.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that preview on the Thursday episode. Now, Fons, your thoughts on this game and standouts?
Well, who would have thought after 4 rounds the Waratahs would be the only undefeated team left in the competition, especially after winning Wooden Spoon last year. So that just shows you, I still think they're not playing their best footy, but they're winning. And that's all that matters. As long as they keep winning and winning. Look, I didn't watch too much of this game because I was too busy watching all the Moana videos after the post-match. So, but look, Gleeson's for me he's still by far their best sort of ball carrier, gets over the gain line. Same thing, a game of him week in, week out. Your front row, you talked about it, Bell, but I also like obviously Parecki. He's the other one. And good to see him, those guys injury free and actually playing some consistent minutes. Obviously they had terrible injuries last year in the front row, the Tars. You're right, the Western Force, they are not their best game, especially after those first 3 rounds that they've played. They were far off the pace than what they normally are. Yeah. look, but that's a big win from the Tars. I didn't see that happening. 34-10. That's a huge scoreline. The Tars they'd be happy where they are at the moment, coming up to Queensland to play the Reds this week. So, look, hats off to them. And mate, they just. How bad was Gleason's injury? Was it real bad, Tony? Or
I'm not sure. I haven't.
He limped off before half time, so yeah. Didn't look too good.
He's a big one. He's a big one for the Tars, I believe. He's just a big body that gets him over the gain line. So look, they've got a few, I think Crichton as well, going down there from Brisbane. It's been, it's something different from Tane Edmund. So it's good that they're getting the depth. We've obviously talked about it on the show tonight. The bench is obviously a huge part. And, mate, the Tars have got some depth too on that bench, Vailanu, and also Grant, the halfback. So there's some they're just plodding along nicely, the Tars. Not many people are talking too much about them, but they just keep winning and keep moving on. So good on them.
Yeah. Another one I wanted to mention, I mentioned him last week, was Felix Kalapu off the bench for the Tars, former Force player. Did his knee, I believe, last year for the Force. Was really good. I was surprised that they let him go, and mate, he came off the bench and even scored a great try running over two of them in that second half. So I'm going to find it hard for was it Amatisero, that Nigerian fella that was in France during his younger years. Yeah, the choker from the Jura game. He's going to find it hard to come back because, mate, he played well, and same as the Rebels second row that came off the bench as well. So, mate, heaps of competition there at the Tars. And another one I had to give a shout to is Pati, Rob Leota. He had he's been trekking along nicely. I think 80-minute performances from him the last few games as well. And, mate, he's slowly getting there. And also Charlie Gamble. It was good to see him get that bit of fire in his belly, throwing a few push and shoves there in the game too. So, mate, it's good to see Aussie teams versus Aussie teams getting that fire, and also Kiwis versus Kiwis. You talked about Lawson Crichton. I thought the Reds really missed this guy, especially as the backup 10. Mate, the Reds went to Christchurch and went down to the Crusaders. Them's your former team. How'd you see this one and your standouts?
Was Freeney. I'm expecting you to cut this up, mate. You can do it after the game.
He's angry.
Nah, do that again, eh? See what happens. When Fluke got dismissed, I think that was a big blow for him. I just thought Liner not being involved, who's a young 10, Harry McLaughlin-Phillips. I said this last week. It's a big thing to go to the Crusaders to play there with not your strong side. Now, the biggest thing for me is depth with the Reds. We've seen that now when your key players aren't involved. Sami's still not there. They've still got good replacements, but they're big time players. You need them for big games. Hopefully, they're all back this week. But I just think I really thought the Reds played well in broken play. So they've obviously. They did a lot of the offloads and pass through contact and offload. They've obviously seen a gap there in the Crusaders' defense, and you could see them with their in their broken play. I thought they played well there. They just couldn't capitalise. Again, I just thought the Crusaders were just a better side again. Who's that second row for the Reds? Crane, Khan, Josh, he was man of the match. I thought he played well both games. Just his work off the ball, his work rate was amazing for a lock. He's a Melbourne boy actually. I just knew when Fluke got, I think he did a honey. It was. I was just really impressed with the way the Crusaders played as well. Havili, Severis, mate, he just knows how to find the try line. They just didn't have that impact that they do when they're at home. And so this is the biggest test when Aussie teams go to New Zealand. I've said this before. We talk about Aussie teams playing against Aussie teams. It's not until you play the Kiwi teams where you get a good gauge, and we say that all the time, right? But just the way, there was a dry pitch. And I was just disappointed in Galgunu played well, I thought. And your usual suspects, your Wilson, McWright, all those guys, you could tell they were just going for it. But yeah, I was just really impressed with the way the Crusaders were, and there was a few times there that the Reds, and there was patches of play where you thought, hold on, there could be a comeback here, but the Reds suffocated that. The Crusaders suffocated that, and much deserved win. But again, the biggest takeout for me is the depth in the Red squad. You still got Luke Gunn, he's still to come back. These are the players that don't usually get a run when the big dogs are out. Is the biggest test. So, it'll be interesting to see how they go this week against the Tars. Obviously, you'd think they'd have their full team back. But, I think the big thing for me is depth for the Reds. Can they have what it takes? Can they perform, can they perform well when they've got a full squad as opposed to when they don't have one? But, it was a good win. Good day. Sunday rugby, we all love a Sunday rugby game, and I was really impressed with the way the Crusaders played.
Yeah, I'll just say, how good is Sunday Arvo footy? And a day like that, Christchurch really put it on. Mate, I just felt like being there with a beer in my hand and watching that game. But we need to get some more Sunday Arvo footy back. Crusaders, they were too good. That Kemera, he's getting better each game. But I thought, Sever Reese and Will Jordan really stood up. Will Jordan, good to see him in full flight again, making breaks and putting Sever away. I thought up front in the Type 5, Shalfoon, he really complements Scott Barrett well, and he's had a good opening month of Super Rugby, and I think higher honours will be around the corner for him. Also, just with the Reds, just some basic errors and some silly things. Just when they scored a try and then they didn't exit, they try to spread it in their 22. Where against the Crusaders, you just gotta play that boring rugby. Exit after your try, and then play in their end of the field. But as you guys said, Josh Canham, I thought he was outstanding for the Reds, their best player. Fraser McWright and Harry Wilson also, they were their best as well. And Ethan Blackadder for Crusaders, mate, he's just a workhorse. He just goes and goes and goes. But I think Crusaders, they're slowly coming back to their normal selves, and we'll soon see how they go.
Yeah, mate, I was screaming that as well. I was like, why aren't these guys exiting properly? Just, what are you doing, mate? I'm like, he's young, mate, but hopefully they learn. Fonts, your thoughts and standouts?
And JT is spot on there. I thought they have great shape, move the ball, but doing it in your own 22, very risky, isn't it? And a couple of times they got caught out because of it. I thought their shape's great, but got to get down that other side of the field and play it down there, not in your own 22. So, look, the Crusaders, I didn't see such a big scoreline like this happen. I thought it might have been a bit closer, but I thought this is the best game David Havili's played in a little while. I think I know everyone's been talking about the other. Second 5/8s in New Zealand at the moment, but I thought this was one of his better games. Also, they started with Dallas McLeod instead of Levi, and I thought when Levi come off the bench, he actually he looked a lot more settled coming off the bench than him starting. So I'm not too sure whether or not they're going to keep with that. I thought Levi played well coming off the bench. I'm so happy Will Jordan and Sever Reese both scored a double because they were both in my fantasy, and they were my saving grace because I think everyone's fantasy this week was terrible because of all the upsets. But you talked about it, Blackadder, Grace, those guys. They just set the platform, physical defense. Harry Wilson, he runs hard lines and they just weren't really bending the line. They're getting the odd offload, which is quite good, and they made the odd break. And I also thought Filippo played well on the wing. He was at centre, not on the wing. Sorry, look, he's quite versatile, isn't he? Because they've got obviously suspension and an injury in the centres, so he can fit in there. But you guys are right. Josh Canham, what a great game from him. He's obviously not just physical, but just got great skills, little touches, footwork, and just a bit of ball skills and contact and getting the offloads away. I thought he played very well. But the Reds, they come home now. I think they're a bit more. I reckon they're a bit like the Chiefs, where they've lost. All right, let's come home and just reset and carry on. Because I still think this Reds team's a good team.
Yeah.
The just one thing, what Fon said. It's good to see an Australian team have an offloading game. Like, I don't think I've seen that in a while. And mate, you add that to your style of rugby in any team you play, like that's going to go a long way. Like, and you saw that against the Crusaders. Now imagine you bring that in to a bit of a structured setup, like what they were doing. You do that, and I think that's the first time I've seen the Reds play that offloading game. You got to encourage it, because look what happens. You know what I mean? They've just got to capitalise. But yeah, it's great to see the offloading game. We get told here in Australia that no 50-50s, no offloading. You know what it's like when you're juniors. Keep the ball. Bloody hell, mate. But you know what I mean? So whereas in New Zealand, they get told, yeah. So you know what? For once, Reds, awesome. Keep it up. Keep up the offloading game.
Yeah.
To be fair, they did try it last year, but they kept knocking it on in contact. Now they're learning to actually nut up and catch the ball in contact. So, mate, they actually look good. And one mention I wanted to give to the number 6 from the Crusaders, Cullen Grace. Mate, he is unreal. Yeah. He's definitely pushing. I think probably 2 or 3 years ago, his name was out there for All Black selection. I think he's putting his hat in that massive queue for the number 6 jersey in the black. So that was our Super Rugby round 4 debrief. Now we got to select our Super Rugby team of the week. Now we'll go through each position and we'll see who everyone's got, and we'll try and lock in one. Starting at loose head, I had Angus Bell or the loose head from Drua.
Harriet Hatat.
Yeah, that's the one. Harriet Hatat. Where's he from, man? What is that name?
It's from Waikato. I think it's from Waikato.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What? Did anyone else have anyone different, or who wants to put a name down? Lock in a name.
I had Hatat.
I had Hatat.
Go. There you go, mate. Majority.
All right. Lock in.
His old man is Joeli Vetayaki. Do you remember the old Fijian prop?
Vetayaki.
Back in the 90s,
Yeah.
Big fella.
The big fella. So that's his old man. You know, he's only there for the scrum.
So lock in Hatat. Not only just at scrum time, but mate, I think he got 3 pilfers. So that was my main one. Number 2, I had Chiefs hooker, Samsoni Taukeaho.
Oh.
Limited minutes, but I had him in there. Anyone else got any names?
After the game, we were at the after match function, and I said, "Oh, man, you're a hard person to tackle. Like, you just going." He's like, I was like, man, I was like, good game, bro. You're a hard man to tackle, man. They were trying to throw themselves at you, and you were just running over him. And then he goes to me, I've been doing it for the last 10 years. I was like, oh, yeah. No. Wow, I thought he was going to, that was a cracker. But anyway, yeah, he's my number 2. So I'm going to go to one side.
Anyone else got any name?
No, I had him, but special mention to Millennium Sanarivi. Yeah, I thought he was good for Moana, and I think he got a meat pie as well. So special mention to him.
Fonz, you had any other names, or we're locking in?
I like talking. I just want to give a mention to Pollard off the bench for the Brumbies. I thought they just BCF in that blue scrum coming off the bench. So, look.
So we'll lock in Samisoni Taukeaho. At tight head, I had 2 names here. I had Daniela Tupou. I thought it's his best game so far this year. And then I had Fletcher Newell from the Crusaders. I thought he did a number on the red scrum there. Anyone else got any other names?
No, I had Newell as well.
I had Alan Alatoa. I thought he was strong against the Blues.
Too.
Got a couple of penalties and got a meat pie too. So
yep, I'm happy to go Alan, unless anyone else. What do you think, Nems?
Oh no, they're all. I just special mention to Mesaki Dongai for the Drua. I thought he played. He's up against the Chiefs. forward pack. But yeah, Chris mentioned to him, look, I'm not a so you guys toss it up.
All right, we've got two of us had Fletcher and who's the other one? Ellen. What do you reckon them?
You guys are the
Bonds.
You are the front row.
JT, you
JT
pick
and
JT.
Sione, you guys are the front row.
You pick JT.
You pick it.
What position?
Ellen.
There you go, Alan. There you go.
Ellen.
He might well too.
All right, and in the locks, I got a few names here. Starting off with Josh Canham, Alan Craig, Tom Savange, and Scott Barrett.
Josh Kane.
Josh Canham.
I had
the first three.
Canham.
Yep.
Canham and any one of those Palangi Moana Pasifika locks. They both played well.
Savaki.
Yeah, I went Canham and Craig because I had Savage there as well, but he got a yellow card. So
Yeah, true. Yeah. Now let's give it to the Chihu.
That's his Samoan side.
Yeah, let's give it to Alan Craig, mate. He's Chihu deserved it after the match too. So lock in Josh Canham and Alan Craig. At 6, got a few names, but I'm going to go Miracle at number 1, but I had special mention to Rob Leota, Cullen Grace, and Tom Hooper from the Brumbies as well.
Tom Hooper, yeah.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, I had Miracle and Tom Hooper.
Yeah.
Miracle first.
Miracle first, but man, that was the one position this week where I thought nearly every winning side 6 played well, wasn't it? So
Yeah, absolutely.
very hard to pick that one.
So we're locking in Miracle Whailangi. At open side, I had 2, Ethan Blackadder and Rory Scott. Anyone else got anyone better?
I had Rory Scott. I think those Brumbies forwards stood up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought.
I had the same. Yeah, I had the whole back row, Brumbies back row.
Alrighty. Nems, any input or are you waiting for the backs?
No, I'm just waiting for the back.
So we'll lock in.
I might throw out a name and didn't even play that position.
Rory Scott from the Brumbies locked in at open side flanker. Okay, at number 8, Charlie Cale, Cameron Safoa, Harry Wilson, and Christian Leo Willie.
I had the Jura, Dere Nalangi.
Oh yeah,
I
Cale.
thought he played. I thought he played very well, but I also thought Cale played well for the Brumbies. I thought he was very good, especially that second half, that Brumbies forward pack. So either for me.
I probably would have had Cameron first. So from the Blues, I thought he was crazy good.
I had Cameron first and Charlie second. They had a great battle, but I think Cameron just every time he touched the ball, he was just making meters past the ad line, and silky little tip pass there to Bodie to get that first try. So I think that counts as a try assist.
So we're going Cameron Suafoa. At number 9, oh damn, I had it updated from last week.
At 9, I'm going to have to go with Frank Lamani. I thought he played really well. Just have you guys ever seen him tackle?
Nah.
Mate, he put a shot. He went low on Hokiaho. He got penalised for it, obviously. But his defense. I don't know another 9 that can tackle like him. That comes out of the line and just to me, the 9 would be Jake Gordon or Frank Lamani.
All right. Any other names?
No, I just had Finlay Christie. I thought.
Then again, Lonigan played well as well, so he's another guy. Again, it's a hard pick this week because the teams that won, their 9s actually stood up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a few good 9s. Cole Preston was another one for the Crusaders. I thought he played pretty well.
Cortez Ratima, the losing side against the Chiefs.
Who are we locking in, boys?
Nemsy, up to you.
I'll go Frank Lomani.
Ferengi.
There you go.
So lock in Frank Lomani. At 10, I had Paddy Pellegrini or Lockley Meredith, but I probably would have had Paddy up the top there.
Yeah. No brainer.
Paddy, but huge honourable mention to Armstrong Ravula. I thought he played very well. But I just think Pellegrini, that was, what a week from him.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's good.
Just step up. Just come in the starting lineup that first week and you're right, Pellegrini for sure.
So lock in Paddy Pellegrini.
That's such a Tongan name, eh?
Yeah, mate. It's from Vavau. All right. On the wings, I had Sevu Reese and Max Jorgensen. Anyone else?
You're on drugs.
No.
Who are we going?
Long and Mussy, surely he's a bit in there with Jorgensen.
Oh, I thought he just did one thing and Jorgensen did three of them.
We're watching them get angry.
In Na's defense, I had Severis and Max Jorgensen as well.
Yeah, no, I did too. But, they all played well too, though, as well.
Yeah.
Nems,
you're a winger. Come on.
you're the winger, mate. You're the
You
winger.
get the final say.
As a winger, you need to score tries. And Max Jorgensen, I'd keep him there. So you got Max as one, Maxi, mate, and then I'm gonna go long in Mussy. So I just think Severis. No, he played well. Don't get me wrong, but the Drua played the Chiefs. It's.
I agree with Nims. I think Long and Mussy. I no hate on Civil Reese. He
no,
played
I don't
well,
either. He consistently plays well. I just think the Drua played to beat the Chiefs and for Long and Mussy to have an impact in the end of the match. I think it's let's play. We expect that from Severis. So we'll go Long and Mussy and Jorgensen.
All right, mate.
No, you should be a lawyer, Nems.
Look, I'm just trying to push my credentials for.
All right, we're locking in Logani Masi. In the centres, at 12, I had AJ Lam. I thought he played well for the Blues, and David Havili. I had David Havili at first. Anyone else got any?
David Havili for me.
Yeah, Havili.
Yeah.
So lock in Cevic, Havili. At 13, I was real impressed with Dallas McLeod at 13. I was a bit iffy at the start of the game, but I thought he did really well, especially in defense. Anyone else have any other 13s standouts?
Filippo for me. In a losing side, I thought he played well. Surely there's some other centers out there. But I think Filippo
Leonard Brown played well. Leonard Brown.
I thought Lalomilo as well.
Oh,
he just kept battering it up all game, and he just against Umanga Jensen and Balin Sullivan. I thought he stood out.
You sold me on that one. Yeah, Nems.
Leonard Brown played all right as well. He had a solid game. He scored a try on the weekend. Antoine Leonard Brown.
Yeah. So we got a few names there. Who we locking in?
And special mention also to who played 13 on for Drua. He
Tuinraki, Samu Vondre.
Samu Vondre played he played well the week before, but he had another that's an honourable shout out.
Yeah.
But again, guys, you said
You two are the backline players. You guys see the not on the ball stuff as well. Who's gonna get that 13 spot?
Well, off the ball stuff. Anton Leonard Brown, just watching him off the ball, mate. That's why he's an All Black. But yeah, I don't know. I just up to you guys. I'll maybe buy.
Fons, you played both.
One game that weekend.
Who are we looking in, Fons?
I'm going to go Filippo.
Yeah,
I feel like no hate on the other centers, but I think Filippo played very well and hunting for their ball.
All right, locking in Filippo Tangunu. And that fullback only had one name, Will Jordan. Anyone else got anyone else that's going to get shut down?
Will Jordan, but I got to give an honourable mention to William Havili for Moana Pasifika. He played a lot at 10 last year, but I thought he played a very good game at the back, and a lot of those guys from Moana Pacifica are playing well at the moment, so good to see.
All right, so we're locking in
Will Jordan.
Viliami Jordan. And that's our Super Rugby Team of the Week for round 4. Let us know who we missed out on in the comments. Okay, now Super Rugby Alpiki and Super Rugby W. It's been 2 rounds. We did a bit of a preview episode 2 weeks ago. You guys, all 3 of you said the Tars are going to win Super Rugby W. Has that changed? Has that prediction, is it a bit shaky or is it still on?
Oh, first of all, Nems, typical keyboard warrior, had a go at me in the last show. I wasn't even there. So a big DVC to you, Nem. But but oh man, how good is this Super W tournament's being flipped on its head? Who would have thought the Reds would have went there to beat Drua, and even just the Tars on the weekend, they got up just against the Force. So I don't know, it'll be interesting. I still think it'll be Tars, but I don't know if it'll be Force in the final. It might be the Drua. And for Aupiki, mate, I'm doing sweet in Aupiki. My Mata 2 teams they're looking real good. I think they're going to be there on the big dance to play the Blues still. So they're going good.
Yeah, you guys doing well in the Aupiki. I picked the Canes, they're coming last. But mate, never give up. All right, and in the first 2 rounds, we put some names down for who we think are going to be breakthrough players. But any names of any players that you think are going to be pushing, that weren't on the radar, that are pushing for international duty, whether it be Australia, Fiji, or the Black Ferns?
I still think, I said a few weeks ago, Drua, Naihamu and Nakodi. Those two, there's centre pairing. Like Nakodi was trying to do everything on the weekend. They should be in the Fiji squad. But just a special mention to the Reds girls. They came in on Wednesday. They flew in on Wednesday. Obviously, everything that's happening up in Queensland. You know, speak to some of them. Some of them couldn't get through to their families that day because it was Saturday morning. You know, and you know, for them to come up and then play and beat the Drua, like that was, you know, it was special in itself. And I've got to give a special shout out to the Fijian, like to the supporters. I don't know if you saw the TV, but you know how, like watching the Force game, the curtain rate, the Force and Tars game was empty, right? Like as commentators, the Drua Reds game, like you couldn't see this side, but the embankment, the grandstand, and the people stand was packed. Like was already capacity. On the other side was packed, so there was a big crowd there, right? And so, like, how special would that be? You know, it is Women's Week, it's Women's Day as well. Like, just to see that atmosphere, there would have been at least 8,000-9,000 already there through this for kickoff of the women's game. So it was good to see, and big special mention to the Reds.
Yeah, just in Super W, there's a girl on the bench for the Waratahs, Faliki Pohiva. She's a prop, tight end prop. When she comes on, she makes some impact. She's got footwork as well, late footwork at the line, and you know, she really gets over that gain line, and she can scrum as well. I think she's been out of the game for a little bit, but I think once she gets her game fitness back up, mate, she'll be starting in no time, and who knows, she might get a World Cup call-up. Also, just another special mention to the Western Force open side flanker, Annika Stevens. I think she's been the player of the tournament so far. Yeah. And I think she's like 35, and she's got 2 kids, and she's killing it. She's getting the pilfers at the right time, and she's just a workhorse. She can just go all day. So shout out to Annika Stevens. And just in with the Aupiki, a couple of youngsters from Matatu, Winnie Paloma, the wing for Matatu, and the fullback Kaya Nepia. Yeah. I think she's from your neck of the woods, Fons, Gizzy there. They're a couple of young guns coming through. And also, you mentioned in the last one too, Fons, Braxton Sorensen McGee, the fullback for the Blues. In a backline full of superstars, I think she's really stood out. Yeah. And she's only, I think, 17 or 18. So, mate, Black Ferns is just around the corner for her. And then there's just one other from the Chiefs. There's a prop, tight head prop as well. Mahuturiki Whakalelu. She's only 18 as well, and she's moved from the back row. She was in the back row, and she's moved into the front row. And she started both games over Tanya Kolonivale. So I think she's got a big future as well. She's only 18, so. Yeah, that's my picks.
Crazy. Good ones. I also had Kaya Nepia. Fons, any names that are sticking out that JT missed?
No, just obviously just with the Sorensen McGee. She just finished school last year, Auckland Girls Grammar, so that's how young she is. And you're right, putting her around, you know, a lot of those other girls like Vargolo and just those older girls around her is only going to make her better. But I thought the Chiefs. I didn't give them any chance against the Blues, but the Chiefs Manawa, and they were winning most of that game, and they just let that slip at the end. So it was a very close game from Chiefs Manawa. The other name too is she plays wing and centre for Hurricanes, and it's Hakiwai. I think she's quite a good player. She normally plays in for Hawke's Bay. In the Farah Palmer Cup, so she's been pretty solid for the Hurricanes as well. But I would say one thing though, I didn't know. I only just found out they only training once a week. The Aupiki girls, which
Crazy,
once a week. Some of them still got jobs. I mean, it's a World Cup year. I don't know how you're supposed to get prepared for a World Cup year. When you got to go up against teams like France and England who are fully professional. Not to say the Black Ferns aren't, but I just feel like it's a bit frustrating, isn't it, that they're still only training the once a week. So I don't know what you do there. It's a big year for women's rugby.
Yeah.
There's a massive Rugby World Cup in England. So, yeah, it's something they got to look at.
I wonder why that
Also,
is.
one other thing. If you were the Black Ferns coach, would you be calling Portia Woodman?
Oh, 100%.
Yes!
I would be.
Mate,
What the hell? That is a stupid question.
Yeah, no, well, she's retired, so.
you'd be
You know the funny
asking.
thing?
I'd be getting in her ear. She's still good enough, and she can play centre as well. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Wing, centre. I'd definitely be. You take the best available team, even if that means a few sevens girls as well. So it's going to be interesting. All picky this year and Super W is going to be very interesting to see who gets, because pretty much these are trial matches because there isn't many games, and then you go into a few test matches, and then you're heading over to England.
Yeah.
So it's literally players got to put their hand up now.
Yeah.
Oh, just on that as well. Sorry, you mentioned the sevens girls. I thought Bella Nasser was good when she came on for the Reds too.
Yeah.
So she came on at the back row.
What position? Back row. Okay, yeah. So that's what I was. Yeah, it's interested to see where she was going to play.
Interesting to see obviously Tegan get more game time, and if Maddie can get some game time. I know Charlotte's here now. She's probably going to play next game. So we'll see how they.
I hope Shalom, the young Shalom, will get sort of a little release from her Broncos contract just to play for the World Cup, because damn, she's damaging.
She's gone to the Bronx, yeah?
Yeah. She signed like 3 years or so.
Whose idea was it for her to go? She teared it up on the weekend.
Yeah.
Like, that offloading. Yeah, she's only 17, 18.
Yeah, she just graduated high school last year, I think.
She's from Ipswich, eh?
Yeah, Ipswich.
Yeah,
Ipswich girls. But when you're paying your girls, isn't it? It's hard to keep them in a sport that's just hard.
Just like you just went wherever the money was.
In those wise words, trolling. So, Shalom, do your thing, girl.
Yeah. All right. Now, if you got any names sticking out for the coaches, because I'm sure they're watching, make sure you put them down in the comments. Now, I'll finish off with this quick little Six Nations debrief. Scotland defeating Wales, and France defeating Ireland, and then England eventually smashing Italy. Any surprises there, boys? Because I know you backed. Hey, Nims, you backed Wales, mate.
Yeah, I was surprised Wales didn't win, man. Like, that try that was disallowed.
The Falatau one?
Yeah, no,
you can't jump over the player.
Yeah.
Well, mate, has the ref been looking at the Super Rugby the last few weeks down in Moana?
Tama Falau jumped over one of the guys as well.
No, that was just a stride length, mate. There's a giddy up. There's a horse giddy up.
Mate,
I seen that disallowed.
I actually watched the whole game, the Ireland-France game live.
Yeah, how good was it?
Very, very good game. But I was actually going to bring that up with the hurdle. One thing I noticed, because Angus Gardner was refereeing the Ireland France game, and you can tell the big difference in the rules of Super Rugby to international rugby. I feel like watching an international game, it went back to TMO decisions, stoppages, slow play. It was hard. It was hard to watch. And even when DuPont went down injured, which was a massive moment of the game, Angus Gardner thought he was refereeing Super Rugby, still telling him to get up because there was a set piece. Yeah, and because I was watching it and I was like, oh, he's actually injured. And then I think Angus Gardner knew, oh, hold on, time off. Yeah. Because obviously Super Rugby, we're playing. And I know the French are not happy about what happened. Of course they I personally feel that was just an accident. That clean out from Tyberg. But I thought that French team were amazing. Ireland threw everything at them, and that French team just took it and just went 80 metres the other way. And they just absolutely just overpowered that Irish team. Prendergast struggled, I thought, big time. That's the first time I've seen him put under real pressure. And he got pressure and more. Ramos, very good at fullback again. But even their bench players for France to come on and absolutely just turn it on. Every single one of them. That French team is dangerous. And for them to come to New Zealand in a few months, it doesn't matter what team they're sending, they're going to be a hard team to beat, regardless of who they're going to send. So, look, that was a very good game, but I was struggling with the old rules. And I feel like when our international teams go back to those rules, I think a lot of our fans are going to be hard to, frustrated watching those sort of rules, because Super Rugby is very different from international rugby, obviously you all know. And that was the biggest thing I took from watching the Six Nations on the weekend. Some great games, even the hurt, like you guys were just talking about it, jumping over the player. Mate, no one's hurt. Why is it a penalty? That displayed a great try, wasn't it? Because Kyron kind of did the same thing in the Moana game, and I thought that was one of the best passages of play. I just feel like those old rules were just frustrating to watch as a fan. Because Wales only just lost. They only just lost that game to Scotland. It wasn't much in it.
It's coming, Wales.
Yeah. But France at the moment, very good team.
Wow, it will be interesting last round this coming weekend, but we'll get into that on the Thursday show. Do a quick little shout out, Nems.
Yeah, just shout out to, I think, the whole Queensland team, the Reds. I was really impressed with the way they conducted themselves, and obviously with what's going on up there, they literally came in. They took in the culture too. They came in on Wednesday and they really embraced it. And the people got behind them as well. And for them to go out and put on a performance like that in Lautoka in front of a full crowd, they showed us one way of how to silence a draw crowd for 70 minutes. So big shout out, big kudos to the Reds. Hope you guys go well against the Tars. And Laurie Kramer, that old dog, she's still going. But yeah, my shout out to the Reds girls.
Shout out to the Reds. Now, Alphonse, your shout out?
All right, a massive shout out to Super Rugby, in general, the first 4 rounds. I'm telling you, Nems, I think I said it before the tournament started. I said it's the best domestic comp in the world. I'll tell you what, it's the most exciting comp, entertainment-wise, and people are watching it. The viewerships are up. Everything they're doing at the moment is besides obviously the blunder in Napier with the Druid boys, but everything else has been very good from a fan point of view, people turning back up. And mate, every week it's just, you just don't know who's going to win. That's how exciting the comp is at the moment. So more of it. I love it. It's great. And also shout out to kids around this week. I think that's the reason why they have the Marvel shirts as well. So I saw the Brumbies did a kids sort of shirt. Looks quite cool actually. And huge shout out to that this week.
Shout out Super Rugby. And JT, finish off with your shout out for the week.
Yeah, just want to shout out to Ryan Freeney back at home. Always steal his girls, and now I'm stealing his job. But have a good week.
Boy, you've got to cut that.
Hey, you nearly made me spit my water out.
You've got to cut that.
We'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Well, hey.
See ya, boys.